using this for pretty much the rest of this semester, which hopefully you'll start realizing this is a relatively good tool for you for a number of reasons. Okay, so again, this is on the page. It says Business Calculus is the top title. It says 6.2, paying into retirement and annuities. Okay, and again, these are all things that we're looking at as far as investments. This same operating system can be used for a number of things. So the end value, and you can, if you don't feel like, if they give you some obscure number and you can't figure out how many years it really is, it's pretty easy to use. So if they gave you like a month, all you do is times the month by 12, and that's going to give you how many times in a year it's going to happen. Okay, so if they said, hey, you have 6.2 months, you go 6.2 times 12. You could do that on the calculator. It will do the operation for you, so it's not like you have to say, well, shoot, I have to get out of this and then go 6.2 times 12 and go back into this mode and figure out, did I remember the number I had or not? PV is your previous value. So previous value could be dependent upon if you are doing a loan, that could be a large number. If it's starting out saving money, it could be a zero value. Go with that. You have a future value. And then all of these can be found. And then you have P/Y and C/Y will always be the same number. For the most part, we're going to stay with 12. Okay. There might be some times that we might change it, but they will both change to the exact same number. And don't worry if you plug 15 in and it shows up on the other one's 15. That's what it's supposed to do. Don't worry about it. The interest is the true interest. Okay, so if they gave you 4.3% interest, you would plug in 4.3. Okay, this is different than other things. Other things would say plug in 0.043. This one you plug the true interest in. PMT is the payment in order to achieve what you're trying to do. And then the end, this is what we want. What we could have the end if we're investing, or if we could get to the end, it could be the amount, the total at the end, and that could be a huge number, but it also could be zero. So those are all things that we can use for this. Okay, so now I'm going to jump over. Oh, and that reminds me, did somebody accidentally take one of the graphing calculators? Would you just double check if you borrowed one of the graphing calculators? Would you just double check if you accidentally took one? One went missing, and I'm not blaming it. It's always very possible things got goofy. And I heard, was it Thursday we had a fire drill right before or right after this period? Or it was before this period, so you guys all went outside and got Starbucks and called it good? So that's what I would have done. So yeah, something happens in between the periods, like, yes. You make the excuse, I didn't know where you were at. Okay. I said it was all clear. I didn't know we were supposed to come back. Okay. No teacher told me. All right, so solving for future value. It says you want to invest $100. You want to invest $100 each pay period for the next 10 years. If you're paid every other week, so every other week, so that you have to realize there are 52 weeks in the year. So every other week means there's going to be 26 payments that are going to go in. Okay? Does that make sense? So that's not bi-monthly. Every other week, if there's 52 weeks, that means you have 26 payments that are going to take place. You earn 6%. Okay, so realize you're just going to plug 6 in. You don't have to go 0.06 on the calculator. How much will you have at the end of the 10-year period? Okay, so knowing that, we can go into our calculator. So we're going to do, and it doesn't matter if there's stuff in here, we can just know to clear stuff out. So we start with N. So we have 26 payments How many years? 10. So notice I typed in the actual math operation. Now I realize we could all probably say it's 260, no problem. But as soon as you down arrow it, it'll convert it to whatever it should be. If it was 6.2 years at 10 years, yes, it'll become a decimal. That's okay. Don't worry. They said the interest was 6%. The previous value, we didn't start with any money in the account, but we started with 0 in the account, and we made a payment. Now, this becomes your choice. Somewhere on here it's going to be negative. Don't worry about the negative. You understand what you're putting in. If you want, you could say, I want to do negative 100, meaning I'm paying $100 in. If you didn't have the negative sign there, that's also okay. It's just going to, a negative would show someplace else. Doesn't mean you did something wrong. Okay, so it's your choice how you want to do it. And then, so my P/Y is going to change. How many times did we, how many payments did we put in per year? How many payments did we do per year? We did 260 total payments, but how many payments did we do each year? What do you think? It's every other week, 52 weeks? 26. So I'm going to change this to 26, and notice if you down arrow, it automatically changes that to 26. So all that's basically saying is we're going to have 260 total payments. We have 6% interest. We had a value originally of nothing. We're putting $100 in. We need to figure out the future value. But our payments per year, because we're doing it every other week, and it's 52 weeks in a year, if I divide 52 by 2, I get 26. So that ends. Okay. Don't worry about the end/begin. Okay. Just keep it as end. That's okay. So we want to figure out the future value. So we're saving money. Okay. It could be a nice amount. It could be something that we might think is not as much as we think. So our future value, I'm going to go alpha, enter, which is solve. So what that means is if I put $10 every 2 weeks, so 26 times throughout the year for 10 years, I'm going to come up with $35,570.59. Okay. Now, some people might say that's not that good. Some people might say it's pretty good. How you could look at this is I'm paying $100 and I'm doing it 260 times. So 260 times 100 is 26,000. Okay, you put 26,000 of your own money in, so you made a little over $9,000 in interest. Okay, it's working for you. Okay, basic rule of thumb for you to think about: the cost of living increases on average, and I realize it right now it's increased a lot more, but on average, you want to find something that's 6% would probably be fine in normal times, which the higher that percent, the better it'll become for you. Okay, 6% in the reality of the past 30, 40 years should equate with what the cost of living increases were. Yes, I understand the cost of living has increased significantly. So, but that's basically how we'd go through it. So that's how you would solve a future value in that. Okay. And then the next one says we're solving for a payment. Okay. So after some thought, you decide you need to have $200,000 available for the future children's education. You need to have money in for 20 years. And you are going to make weekly payments into an annuity that is 8.5%. And it's compounded weekly for 20 years. Okay. All right. So how many weeks are in a year? 52. So we're just going up to n. How many years are we going to do this for? 20, yeah. So notice, again, I did 52 times 20. I didn't go to the calculator mode. If I do that and I hit down arrow, we have 1,040 payments we're going to make. We found this account that's going to give us 8.5%. That's really good. That's got to be something to look forward to. It's not going to happen in a bank, I'll tell you that. But you have a previous value of 0, but we want our future value to become $200,000. Okay? Now, we also need to think about this. How many payments a year am I going to do? If we're doing it every week, how many weeks are in a year? Okay, so that's going to be 52. Down arrow, the C/Y becomes the same. So now, we want to now figure out how much should we be putting in each month in order for this to work. So I'm going to figure out what the payment is. This will come out as a negative number because one of these things between PV, PMT, and FV has to be negative. And that's okay. Don't worry. Negative is not a bad thing in this. So if I go to alpha and solve, that means that I have to put in $73.20 every week for 20 years at the 8.5% interest to wind up with $200,000. Okay? All right. Is $73.20 a lot each week? It could be. Depends upon what your means are. Okay? Pretty simple. Seem okay? And then solving for how long? How long? If you want to have an annuity worth $1 million, okay, $1 million, 7 figures. I like it. How long would it take? How long would you have to invest $10 each day into an annuity that pays 10% compounded daily? Okay. Now let's not worry about leap year. How many days are in a year? 365. Okay. So that's what I'm going to find. So I'm putting money in daily. So I'm going to change this to 365, which changes that to 365. We want our future value to be $1 million. And we want to put in $10 a day. I'll make this our negative. So I'm using the negative button underneath the 3. Don't use the minus sign. It doesn't recognize minus and negative as the same. It just isn't smart enough. And 10% into the annuity. Okay? So this is going to tell us how long this is going to take. So I'm going to go alpha, enter, and that tells us that 12,215 payments are going to have to be made. That's not years, that's payments. So how many payments were we actually making each year? 365. So what you can do is 12215.64. That's how many payments that we have to do, but we said that we're going to save $10 a day. Okay, so I'm going to quit out of this, and I'm going to go 12215.64, and I'm going to divide that by the 365. So it's going to take you 33.5 years putting $10 a day away. Now, let's think about this. How many of you have that fancy syrupy Starbucks drink each and every day? A lot of you, right? We see a lot of Starbucks cups on this campus, don't we? Starbucks would probably be smart to open a Starbucks on campuses like us. It'd be packed, don't you think? Yeah, I realize it's right over here, but then you have to deal with all the rest of the people, right? You have the mom coming in with a stroller, she's on the phone. Oh, so Sally. Blah, 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 blah. And you're like, oh my gosh, this lady's in the way. I have 4 minutes to get back to campus, and she's taking my time. But so $10 a day for 33 and a half years. I don't know. I think it's doable. I don't think it's a number that's out of reach. And believe it or not, there are actually things that you could do. If you had some sort of account and you wanted to put it into an annuity, you could draw $10 off that account every day electronically, and it does it automatically for you. You don't even have to think about it. I guess the only thing you have to think about is, I got to make sure I have at least $10 in my account each day. Because you know you won't be in trouble. You're going to get fined and all that kind of stuff. You don't want that. So that's the long and the short of how this works for you. Okay. Now, I can't remember because last week it was a blur to me because I was dealing with more things in my life. Did we work on the 6.2 number 1? I just don't remember. Do you recall? No? I got a no in the back. I'll take a no in the back. All right. So why don't we do this? How about we assign this to you, and I'll be done with my teaching for now. Let's have you do 6.2 number 1, and what do we say we do 1 through 5 due tomorrow. So I'll give you the rest of the period to work on this, and I'm happy to help you. And I do have a couple of calculators that are back there. Unfortunately, one of them went missing accidentally. Not blaming anybody, just an accidental goof. So if you need to borrow one, grab one for the back cabin. If you need to share, go for it. But that's all I have for you for the rest of the period. Sound good? And then if you did not get the stuff done on Schoology, that was Thursday and Fridays last week, the Schoology is open. Okay, and I won't put those 2 grades in until Friday after school. Friday this week, we'll make it due. Sound good? And then I will check this off tomorrow. Deal?